Hello everybody, my name is Oleh, I'm a .NET developer, and today we are going to talk about such an interesting topic as unit testing. So not the unit, but the integration testing. And we will do it with the xUnit framework and using the MVC project template. I was previously asked to do some videos about the Blazor and especially Blazor WebAssembly, but currently we will start with the quite simpler topic, and then we will move to the more complicated one, because the integration testing in the Blazor, especially Blazor WebAssembly, is not so simple as in MVC template. So let's get with this for startup and next move to the most difficult ones. So here we have a basic MVC project created just from scratch from template. And as we can see here, we have just the empty project, which has just the program CS here. And here we have only one home controller with the actions which are created by default. So there is index, privacy, and error action, which will be fired on the application error. And currently we do not have any unit testing project. So let's create the project and start with the integration testing. So first of all, we need to create the new project here and go here to the unit test project, specify the xUnit here, and let's call it our web application 1 dot integration tests. Here, yes, so these ones we are leaving by default, and let's create the project. Yeah, so here we have the newly created testing project, and let's see what do we have inside here. So here we have the .NET Test SDK, which is required for unit testing and integration tool. Then we have xUnit here. Also, we have xUnit Runner Visual Studio. This package is required when you do testing scenarios in the Visual Studio, but it's optional when you are doing these scenarios in the JetBrains writer. So currently we can comment it out, and also we have here the coverlet.collector package, which is used for some advanced scenarios like parsing the HTML which is got during the page load and so on. So we will not be using it today, so let's also comment it too. But when we are talking about the MVC project, we need also to add one more project reference in order to get this thing running in terms of MVC. So, and one moment, and this package should be called as SP.NET Core MVC testing. So let's search for it like this. And here we see this package. So this package is just required in order for us to test, to do the integration tests against the MVC application. So let's add it to integration test project here. So here we have our setup, and just also we can update this one to the most recent version. Yeah, so here is our setup for today. And let's run this project to see whether it is working at the initial stage. So we can do it just by hitting Run Unit Tests button. And here we see that our test 1, which is created by default, which is effect and will be always succeed. It has been succeeded. Okay, so that's great. And we should start with the integration testing. So let's create a new class called integration test, called tests. Here we have the class tests, and currently we do not have any methods in it. So let's create our first test method. And how to bootstrap our our testing project in order to call this web application, which is MVC. So assuming that this application is correct from template, so we have the index and privacy actions. So we can just, for example, so these actions are not restricted by any roles and any other conditions. So it's just as allow anonymous. So allow anonymous is the attribute which could be specified in the implicit way, and it tells that the action over the controller is accessible for every user, not regarding their authentication and authorization. And we also can move this attribute just to controller class, because it will be accessible by default to every user without restriction. But in order to reference our application, we need to do some additional steps. So first of all, we need to inherit our tests class from such thing as iClass fixture. So it will be iClass fixture, and it will be of type web application factory and of type of program here. So it will be a program one. And also we need to do one additional step here. So when we have the where we have the program CS file of the main application, we should specify our class, which and here we obviously have got one inconvenience, because the program class we are referencing should be not from here but from the real web application. Yeah. So how we can do that? So first of all, we need to reference our web application project inside the integration tests project. So we should go to the references, so not to the references but to the dependencies, and add the reference to our web application. Yeah. So here we have added. And here we see, yeah, so this class has appeared here, but unfortunately it's an internal one. So let me explain a bit. So when we have this new .NET probably 6 template, which does not have an implicit declaration of the program class and main method, under the hood, this file contains a program class and main method in which this code does run. But this class has the internal modifier. So it has an internal modifier, and we have to explicitly declare it as a public. So and we can do it in one simple way. So first we need to, after all these top level statements, we should have a declaration of this partial class. So it will be a public partial class, and it will be called program. Yeah, so program as this class under the hood. And while we are making a partial public declaration, it allows us to reference this class inside our test project. So, and this class inheritance would be valid this way. So the program we are referencing here is the program in our web application one. So, and after that we can go with the integration testing. So first of all, we need to create our web application factory. So, and we are dependency injection. So it will be private read-only web application factory of type program, and yeah, so not this program in the test host, but this program, so which we are explicitly referencing, and let it be called factory. Also, let's have a constructor here. It will be constructor, and it will take this one, and it will be used just for dependency injection to our test class. And after that, we can go with the parameterized test. So in the xUnit, it is done via attribute theory. So it will be theory, and also there is an attribute of the inline data. So inline data, it's the attribute in which we can easily specify the parameters of the test method which we will do here. So we will inline just the /URL, which means that we are testing against the index page in this way. But also we can do one more testing here, not this way, but specifying the full route. So it will be home/index here. And after that, we can create the method. So it will be a public async task, because it will be required for us to call the HTTP against our application. So it is done only in a sync way. So task without type, and it will use the string URL parameter. So, and let's call it get page allow anonymous. So allow anonymous, as we have specified in the controller, the attribute which allows the users without any authentication and authorization visit the page with no restriction. So, and let's proceed with the code. So every test, not the integration but unit test 2, consists of 3 parts. So first one is arrange. In the arrange part, we should arrange our test pre-requirements and set everything up. So, and we can do it just the way this client. Our client will be a factory dot create client. So is just the arrange step. Next will be the acting step. So act when we do some action in this testing. So, and it will look like response, and our response will be await client dot get async. It's just the usual HTTP message client, and we'll provide the URL here. So our param of the page against which we are testing. So the client is just a regular HTTP client, so we are creating just the same client as we used to create, for example, for Blazor WebAssembly to get some data. So it's just the same. And after that, we proceed with assert. So how to verify that this response is valid for these pages which we have mentioned in the test parameters. So first of all, there is a method called response.ensure success status code, which indicates that the status code will be in range of from 200 to 299. So these codes are successful status codes. So next we have in range 300 we have the redirection codes, which are not explicitly the success ones, and then we go with 400 plus till 500, which are the client errors, and 500 plus, which are the server errors. So here we are ensuring just that the success, that the status code will be success. And other way, if this status code will not be successful, we will result in HTTP request exception. And next we can go with the assert. So assert is the way to check the result against some constant value. So assert, and we have the method equal. So what we should provide here? We have the content type, which we are expecting. So var content type, and it will be just text HTML, and it will be the char set, which will be the UTF-8 here. So, and it's our content type, which is expected in headers, and we can check against this content type the actual response header in the response. So we can do it just response.content.headers.content type. So it's a standard HTML header which indicates about HTTP header, which indicates about the content of the response. And let's call it to string here this way. And let's rebuild our solution just for sure. And let's run this unit test. And here we see, yes, so this test has been succeeded, and currently we do not have any obstacles with this test. And let's let's look at this case just for one scenario when we are assuming that we have authentication and authorization set up, and we are having some page with the redirect to the login page. So we are not going to set up it the complete way, but let's do some mocking in these terms. So first of all, we should register in our application the authentication. So, and let's do it this way. So when we have add services, here we can add our default authentication. So it will be builder.services dot add authentication. Next we are going with options. So we are just providing the default scheme. The default scheme will be cookie cookie authentication defaults dot authentication scheme. So this will be like mocking of some cookie authentication. Next we should add the add cookie, and here let's provide options login path, and let it be the home login this way. And also we need to here we need to provide the authorization, and also we need to provide use authentication here. And let's alter it one way. So for example, we have the privacy page, and let's add the authorized attribute here. So authorized attribute will disallow the non-authenticated user to view this page. So when we will run this test one more, very strange. We are not doing it against the privacy, yeah. So, and if we will add this one, privacy here, and let's rerun this test. Very strange. privacy, and let's specify the row explicitly. And probably let's rebuild it. Let's do one more time. One moment. One looks a bit strange. So, and let's, so yeah, home privacy. We are creating, we are ensuring status code, and if we do without this one, yeah, so that was due the low anonymous attribute. So yeah, on the controller it probably some way overrided the authorization policy for our test. So here we see that this page is not found. So let's ensure privacy, yeah, home privacy, and yeah, here, so the route is absolutely correct. So when let me explain what is happening. Yeah, and one more thing. If we have specified the login path here, we also should create this page in order to have this functionality properly working. So let's create the view called login. Maybe just empty one, and let's create the login result. So public action result login, and we will be returning a view here of the login page. And let's run the test here. Very strange. But here we have one moment here. Why the test is finishing this way? Because this functionality of the authentication and with login path will just prevent us from viewing the privacy page, but it will also automatically redirect us to the home login page. And our test client by default does allow the redirect. So, and how we can do that, just to disallow this option, is by specifying the web application options, and here we should provide the allow auto redirect set to false. So, and yeah, probably I'm missing one bracket. Not on this one, but one moment. Yeah. So we have one redundant here. That's it. And let's rebuild it and rerun one more time. So run unit tests. And here, yeah, here what we have should received there. So it will be 302 found. So that means that this page does exist, but unfortunately it will lead to the redirect. So, and how we can how we can alter this test a bit, but not alter, but also to create the new one in order to cover this case. So let's create another test, which will be also the theory one, which will have this one here, so the privacy, but it will be called public async task, and it will be get redirect with no auth. Yeah, and let's provide our parameter as URL here, and let's create the test which will ensure that this page will be redirecting just to the login page. So here we have the same client, and here we will have the same acting way. So we are also loading this page, and one moment. Yeah, misspelling here. And what we should explicitly alter here is our assert section. So our assert section will look a quite different way here. So first of all, we need to do the assertion against the status code, and which should be equal http status code dot redirect. So, and our response status code. So first of all, we have to ensure that the page which is meant only for authorized users is redirecting our response to the another page, but currently we do not to which one. And the next assertion will be assert.contains, and let's have let's copy our login path from here. Our login path here, and assert contains. So first of all, we need to provide this login path and verify it against response.headers.location and our original string. So original string is the header value which indicates us to which page the redirect is done. So here we have one page which is allowed for every user, so we just ensuring that this page will be accessible for everyone. And here we are ensuring that our page, which is mentioned with some kind of private functionality or private data, will be not accessible to the not authorized user and will lead to the redirect to the login page. So let's rebuild it. And let's run it one more time. Yeah, and here we see that both our tests have been successfully finished. So that's it. That's the most simple way of arranging the integration tests in the MVC application. Currently, we have not covered the topic of authorization and authentication, which will be provided in the next videos. So. And hopefully this video will be useful for you. If you have any ideas or comments, please write it, and I'm really open for discussion. Yeah, thanks for your attention.